guys, before we get too far into this first YouTube video, I want to give you a little bit of insight on why I wanted to start the channel, why bottom shelf defense. Over the past couple weeks, I've been doing some research into RMR type red dots for a handgun, and I'm finding a lot of different price ranges. And if you're like I am, you're using avenues like YouTube and forums and blogs, etc. to figure out whether or not you want to buy this product, what you're getting spec-wise, and what you may be getting out of it as far as durability as well. But what I'm also seeing is that there's a lot of these budget-minded options out there that aren't getting those durability tests like some of the higher price items. So that's kind of where this comes in, and it goes for all gear, not just specifically optics, but that's relevant to why I wanted to start the channel. What we're going to start with is a Streamlight Polytac. For $35 is, I think, what I paid for it on Amazon. You get a really solid light, and a lot of people use it for a rifle light. For me, it's an everyday carry light. I stick it in my pocket and it goes with me everywhere I go. But if I wanted to put it on my rifle and run it really hard, would it hold up? Will it hold up over time? How many years of use am I going to get out of this? That's something that I hope to be able to answer with you guys. Before I start rambling too much, I wanted to shout out to Mark from Warrior Works for helping me on a short notice logo, and if you guys get a chance, check him out on Facebook and YouTube. Really solid guy. Let's go ahead and get started with the torture test. Here we've got my somewhat scientific pendulum, and basically all I'm doing is I've got a couple blocks to kind of raise the height up a little bit. I've got about a 7-pound head tied to a couple pieces of rope on up to a tree limb. So I'll leave the light on for you guys. And we'll drop it from roughly 5 foot 7 inches. That's how tall I am. And see if the light turns off. If it turns off, maybe we can find a reason why. So I'm using this more or less as a general impact test. I know we're on grass. I'm not sure how much force we are putting on the light itself, but I wanted to do this specific test because it is a repeatable test, or at least somewhat repeatable. Still on. Let's do it 2 more times. We'll set the standard at 4 here. We've hit it 3 times now. Set it 1 more time. Try to get a different camera angle so you guys can kind of see how I'm doing this. Alright. So it's hitting it pretty good. The light's bouncing and rolling even if it's on grass. You know, it's bouncing and rolling pretty good. The light's still on. So I went to get my clear plastic bucket out of the shed, and it's got a hole in it. So I can't do the water test in it, so we're going to use my sink. The sink has got 5 inches of water in it, and I think it's 7 foot deep. Alright, I've already dipped the light in the water, as you can see. I actually accidentally dropped it in there. But I'm going to leave it submerged for at least 30 minutes. Maybe longer, just depending. I've got to run down the street and do some stuff real quick, but I'm not going to stand here and video 30 minutes of water with a flashlight in it, but I can assure you that it is the same light throughout the entire test. The same light that I'm putting in here now is going to come out of the water. So you'll just have to take my word on it. Here we go. While the light's soaking, I wanted to give you a little bit of specs on it so you know what you're getting. It's a 275 lumen light with a peak candela of 9,500. Yeah, 9,500. Runs off of 2 CR123s. It's got a polymer body and a 10-tap programmable switch. You get high, strobe, and low. I leave mine on high. Whenever I want the light, I want all of it. And if you don't know what the difference between lumens and candela are, you may want to double check me on this, but I believe that lumens are the max intensity of a light as a whole, and candela is the measured intensity of a certain point. So what I believe the candela is at the center of the beam, you're getting a peak of 9,500 on this specific light. But again, don't quote me on it, and I'd have to read back up on it just to see if I'm 100% on that. So that's what you're getting for $35 out of a Streamlight product. Alright, and we're back an hour later. My timer went off and I turned it off and forgot about it. Imagine that light's still on, still same original light, still bright. So, let's say we're doing pretty good so far. Alright, so for another general impact test, we're going to drive a nail into this board here and see if the light stays on while we do it. So, here we go. Alright, well, I couldn't get the nail to go any farther before it started bending, but the light's still on. It's beat up pretty good, so we're still doing alright. Okay, so we're also going to do another drop test, a high drop test, I guess you could call it, onto the concrete down here, and we'll see if the light stays on it. We're going to drop it 4 different ways. We drop it on the side with the clip, on the side without the clip, on the bezel, and then on the back. We'll see if it stays on. Obviously, whenever we drop it on the back, it'll probably hit the switch and turn it off, but if it turns back on after that, we'll be good to go. So, here we go.
Still on for that. Alright, on the side with the clip. Still on for that.
So far it's holding up like I expected it to. I think you guys might be able to figure this next test out. I'm going all Mission Impossible for you. Get the light turned on here. Alright. Toss it out there with our trusty blue rope. Alright. And we're still on. How about that? Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's pretty beat up now, but it's still on. How about that? Pretty neat. Alright, one last little test here. This is probably one of the more likely of the situations. Maybe you drop the light out of your pocket in the parking lot or something and it gets run over. And we're still on. Cool. So let's take it back and we'll talk about it and we'll see what my thoughts are and what my recommendations would be as far as this light. Okay, so we're done with the testing. The light held up really well, and I wanted to go over some of the tests with you. The pendulum test is kind of a benchmark. If something breaks after getting hit 4 times with that scientific pendulum that I made, it's not a product that I'm going to buy. It's not a product that I'm going to recommend that you buy, or it's not a product that I'm going to keep. Obviously I have to buy it for the purpose of the video. The water, maybe I've dropped the light into a puddle and I didn't know that I lost it out of my pocket, or whatever the case may be. So we know that it'll hold up to that, at least in a more realistic scenario, even though the light's rated for deeper than that. The drop test, maybe I was up on the roof working on it and the light fell off. Well, it held up to that. The nail in the car were something I just wanted to add in there, just throw in there for the fun factor of it, and it held up fine to that as well too. That being said, this is my first video. I've worked on it really hard. I've done a lot of redos and all that good stuff. So if you guys have any suggestions, or if there's an item that you want to see, comment it, let me know. And if you have any suggestions on the editing or anything like that, I'm still new to it, so let me know. The feedback is more than welcome, and we'll see you guys next time.